was a magical garden known as the Moonlit Garden. This garden was unlike any other, for it bloomed only at night, under the soft glow of the moon. Every evening, as the sun set and the stars began to twinkle, the villagers would gather at the garden's entrance. They waited in quiet anticipation, for the moment the first silver rays of moonlight touched the flowers, the garden would come alive. The flowers would open their delicate petals, revealing colors more vibrant than any seen in the daylight. The air would fill with a sweet, calming fragrance that lulled everyone into a peaceful state of mind. At the center of the garden stood a grand, old oak tree. It was said to be as ancient as the stars themselves. Beneath its branches, a small pond sparkled, reflecting the moon and stars in its crystal-clear water. In the pond lived a wise old turtle named Orion. Orion had lived in the garden for centuries, and he knew all its secrets. One night, as the villagers settled in to enjoy the garden's beauty, a little girl named Elara wandered closer to the pond. She was curious about the stories of the garden and wanted to ask Orion about them. As she approached, Orion lifted his head and smiled at her. "Hello, little one," Orion greeted. His voice was gentle and soothing, like a lullaby. "What brings you to the Moonlit Garden tonight?" Elara looked at the turtle with wide, wonder-filled eyes. "I've heard that this garden is magical," she said. "But I've always wondered, why do the flowers only bloom at night?" Orion chuckled softly. "Ah, that's a special secret," he said. "You see, the garden was a gift from the moon herself. She wanted to create a place of peace and beauty for those who seek solace in the quiet of the night. The flowers bloom under her gentle light, bringing comfort and joy to all who visit." Elara listened intently, feeling a warm glow in her heart. "Does the garden have a favorite story?" she asked. Orion thought for a moment. "There is one story that the garden loves," he said. "It's about a brave little firefly named Lumi." Elara's eyes sparkled with interest. "Can you tell me the story?" she asked. Orion nodded. "Of course. Once, long ago, Lumi was the smallest firefly in the forest. She was shy and often hid away, feeling too small and insignificant. But one night, the moon noticed her and whispered to her, saying, 'Lumi, you have a special light within you. Don't be afraid to let it shine.' Encouraged by the moon's words, Lumi flew out of her hiding place and began to light up the night. Her gentle glow illuminated the darkest corners of the forest, bringing warmth and hope to all the creatures. The Moonlit Garden saw her courage and invited her to stay, where she became the garden's guardian of light. Every night, she flies through the garden, lighting up the flowers and guiding the villagers with her soft, golden glow." Elara smiled, feeling comforted by the story. She looked up at the sky, where the moon shone brightly, and then at the garden, bathed in its silver light. "Thank you for the story, Orion," she said softly. "I think I'll always remember it." Orion smiled back. "I'm glad you enjoyed it, little one. Remember, just like Lumi, you have a special light inside you. Let it shine, and it will guide you, even in the darkest times." As the night grew deeper, the villagers began to leave the garden, their hearts filled with peace and their minds at ease. Elara waved goodbye to Orion and walked home, feeling a gentle warmth in her heart. That night, as she lay in bed, she thought of the moonlit garden and the brave little firefly. With a smile on her face, she drifted off to sleep, her dreams filled with the magical glow of the moon and stars. And so, under the watchful eyes of the moon and Orion, the moonlit garden continued to bloom night after night, a place of magic and serenity, where dreams took flight and hearts found peace.